Okay, so you guys know how being petty is like my spiritual gift, right?
Welcome to a new segment I'm calling That's Not Biblical.
Thank you for your contribution, man. Now,
Hello. We should have done like a round.
you need to change that last graphic that says Heretics live last Sunday of every month to be like usually last Sunday of every month, sometimes on Mondays, sometimes not at all.
Listen, I'm thinking
The
like
Heretics. Please follow us on social media to find out when we're streaming.
last minute because we won't tell you till the day of.
Seriously, it is always the day of.
Wait,
Listen,
I'm gonna take a picture right now and post it to Instagram and be like, guys, we're streaming. You should come hang out with us. All right,
I'm gonna also take
ready?
a picture.
Pose, April.
I was posing.
Oh my gosh.
Was my pose not good enough?
No, it's great. Look at me in April and then look at you.
I'm always ready. I'm like
you're
Barney Stinson. Did you guys watch How I Met Your Mother? When he's like ready for every picture. That's totally me. Oh my goodness. Hello, everybody. You got
Caitlin.
Katie and Rodney.
I pass my counter and I see the letter that I have for you containing handmade pride stickers. And I go, yeah, I'm going to mail that someday.
I love it. This is the best way to spend the last few hours of my 20s. You're turning 30 tomorrow or tonight. All right. Abby's going to sing happy birthday to you and go.
Happy birthday. This is going to take forever.
I know. Oh my God.
You got to speed that rhythm up.
Jeez.
That's the Marilyn Monroe version.
I know what? It was very sexy. I'm turned on. I don't know if anybody else is. April? No? Just me? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
well, happy.
Wow. With that awkward start to the show.
I don't know that we've ever had a normal start to the show.
That's true. I want a compilation of all our awkward starts.
Usually we're all taken by surprise that we're live. We're like,
I don't know how.
Oh yeah. Oh, this. Yes.
That's not true. Remember the one time that you and I threatened to talk through the whole intro and Rachel forcibly muted us?
I did
to prevent us from doing that.
Because you know what? True. Some things are funny and some things stress me out.
I think it was pretty funny.
I'm a ball of anxiety like 15 minutes before we start every month. And I don't really know why. Because the minute we're on, I'm not. But those because it's like we always have, not always, knock on wood, a mic issue or something. And I'm like, it's just me. I don't know.
Go with it. Sometimes we do have mic issues, but you know what? We're not like we don't
have
brand
to be perfect.
ourselves
you know why?
on being professional.
You know why we don't have to be perfect?
Because we're Jezebels.
Oh, that was a good timing for something to just fall off my desk. Jeez. I was getting ready to say because Jesus makes us perfect, but but then a box of Band-Aids fell off my desk. So
all right, I just posted the picture.
Okay, we are now everyone knows. All right, this is where 3 minutes in we're going to say, welcome to the Heretics. This is the Great Falling Away.
Hi,
I'm
the
Rachel.
Heretics.
That was our tagline very initially, and we have literally never said it. I feel
welcome to the Great Falling Away is our branded hashtag.
April, can you do me a favor? You are the one with all of the parodying, satirical acting skills. Do you know who Mark Lowry is?
Of course I know who Mark Lowry is.
Love of my life.
Need you to come up with a song to create a parody to that's like, this is the Great Falling Away or welcome to the Great Falling Away or something like that.
I Mark Lowry style?
Yeah, like Mark in the sense where it's like
face in
Weird
this
Al
world.
style. Mark Lowry was my jam. So I just right.
My face
and he what's the song? This is the great adventure. Mm-hmm. I feel like you could do something with that one. Like this is, I can't make it work, but
great
you can.
Away.
I believe in you.
I mean, the production value, she's not going to half-ass it either.
Here's my question. Well, I mean, I can do video stuff. This also requires good audio. But here's my question.
Did you see what Katie just said? I'm always turned on.
But then she said, actually, not really. Thanks, Prozac.
That's pretty good.
It's pretty accurate.
Fair.
How's everybody doing? What's been going on this month? For the second month in a row, I'm having a fucking fantastic month. I'm being so sarcastic when I say that, but that's okay.
Wow.
Womp womp. I'm having a crappy month again, but that's okay because now I'm talking to my girls and I've been drinking and all is good in the world. What about you guys? What's been going on?
Oh, just living large in life and school for my daughter who's going into first grade starts in like 2 weeks.
That's so early.
Actually, yeah, it is so early. It's less than 2 weeks, actually.
It's part of why I homeschool my kids so that we don't have to go back in the middle of August.
Okay, this is like the beginning of August.
So where you guys grew up, did you go back to school after Labor Day? Because we did. Did you guys?
No, I think I was in Texas and we would go like end of August, like late August.
We always started the Tuesday after Labor Day. The day after.
Yeah, in Wisconsin we did like growing. They don't start now that time anymore. Like in Wisconsin they start, I don't know what shifted.
I've heard that it's testing. That testing is the reason why schedules have all changed with schools or something. But like Indiana, which is very close to me, so I know plenty of people that kids go back and like they're going back to school like on next Monday or something. Are you laughing?
Because you're like, I know kids. We know, baby.
No, I started to be like, no. I was saying like Indiana feels so random for me to say, but literally like we're right in the corner. So you know that. Not all of these. Maybe people aren't geographic geniuses. Area. It's the greater Cincinnati area. Okay, this is weird.
This is so weird. So back to the how we are thing.
Yeah.
How we are is this is like a mix of good and bad. So, you know, my mom passed a couple months ago and grief is like a real weird thing. And I realized that one of the ways that grief is manifesting for me is that I don't do laundry anymore. Like I do the bare minimum to get by. And I just don't do more than that. I literally have bought new clothes because I was like, I'm not doing that laundry. And I don't know why that was my grief line in the sand.
That's all good.
But we're about to go on a 2-week trip. I like have to do laundry.
You do. Or you could just buy new stuff for it.
I thought about it. And I'm visiting my grandparents and my grandmother's love language is shopping. I genuinely thought about like showing up with an empty duffel bag and just being like, yeah, man, I just couldn't bring myself to do laundry for the past 4 months. So
sorry,
I'm going to need a new wardrobe. But so my day has consisted of literally nothing but mountains of laundry. And I can't even tell you guys, like, I fucking hate laundry so much. Like I hate laundry so much.
It's not the most fun thing to do.
No, it's stupid and it's awful.
And the older I get, the more I understand taking good care of your clothes and like actually doing what it tells you to do. Because like in my 20s and stuff, everything went into like the same load. I didn't give 2 craps. I washed everything cold so the waters wouldn't. And now I'm like, oh, like more than half my clothes don't get dried.
I bought a drying rack like from Target. I spent like $30 on like a foldable, well-made drying rack because I was like, I can no longer dry my undergarments. Okay, they have to be hung dry.
Absolutely. This is the cool stuff we talk about on the Heretics.
This is what laundry. It's like 37.
You know what though? This is exactly what the Theobros think women should talk about.
You're right.
Laundry.
They would be pleased with this conversation. Fun fact, I'm also getting ready to go on a trip. Abby and I are both going on trips. So she's coming to Cincinnati the day that I leave.
Guess what you don't know? I'm not.
Okay, so she's not coming to Cincinnati anymore.
Guess what you don't know?
Originally, I was supposed to go to Cincinnati for like 3 days, turn around, go back to Chicago, and the next day get on a train. And I have queued up, you know, the TikTok audio that's like bus, another bus, no sleep. But like I had that queued up to do all of the travel plans, the TikTok to all the travel plans. And we're not doing that anymore because the party got canceled because apparently COVID cases are surging in Cincinnati.
They are.
And so it was a birthday party for a 70-year-old. And they were like, maybe we don't gather the elderly.
Okay. So as much as I'm sad that you don't get to go to Cincinnati, I'm kind of happy that you're not coming to Cincinnati the day that I leave Cincinnati.
To go visit April. I was like, babe, I'm coming to Cincinnati. And Rachel was like, cool, I'm going to go to Tennessee.
Well, I'm going to Florida.
Yeah, but it's way
she's-
funnier the way I'm saying it.
You're okay. There you go.
Well, and but even the funny thing though is I have a baby shower that I have to go to on Saturday, so Rachel's just going to be hanging out with Beecher.
I'm really going to see
Using
Beach.
you as a hotel.
Yes, basically. No, I'm just kidding. I'm gonna hang out with Beach. Oh, what?
Sorry, Katie's coming to the Chicago area tomorrow.
People
We're just
listening
all
to this
swapping.
podcast, how does anyone like follow?
It's
who's
so
just
funny
listening?
because if I listen back to an episode from a few months before, it's not fresh in my mind. Abby will make a noise like that, and I'm driving in my car, and I'm like, "What? What?" And then she's
Hey,
like,
if it's any
just read the
consolation, when I'm
comments.
in the car, I also make that noise as a passenger, just for any old reason. And my husband constantly does this. You are going to get us killed.
I love it. I love it.
Sorry, for anyone listening, I was responding to a comment because we are a live broadcast.
We are.
That
There
you
are
can
people here,
participate in real time.
and it's fucking fun.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
fucking fun.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say fuck a few more times so that we can make sure we earn that explicit warning.
We've
Rach, are
already
you
earned
going
it.
to Disney?
I am going to Disney.
Oh, you guys, for those of you listening who maybe don't know, Rachel is, in fact, a Disney adult.
I really am. And I'm going on my first ever solo trip to Disney.
Whoop,
And I'm
whoop.
only going for a few days because then I'm going somewhere else after that. But I'm going on a little bit of a mental health journey. So instead of flying down, even though it'd be a 2-hour freaking flight that I've done a million times, I am driving. I'm going to stop and see Beecher and April on the way. Go to Disney for a couple days, stop and see my friend Jess, who some of you might know from TikTok, getting shiggy with it, in Atlanta on the way back. And then meeting my friends at the lake house for our annual trip to Lake Norris. So I'm so excited to just like be in the car by myself for a bunch of hours and listen to podcasts or books. You know, I've got some books to listen to.
As someone who
and-
has been alone in the car with you for a bunch of hours, you're fucking fun to be on a road trip with.
I'm a good time.
You're the best kind of, because I feel like whenever I go on road trips, I want someone who's going to pump the music and we're going to sing like ridiculous. I have all of these videos. You guys, you don't know. Rachel won't let me post
I won't let her
any
post them.
of them.
They're so unflattering.
Oh my gosh. What's the one Michael
Stomp?
W. Smith?
Oh.
No, what's the Michael W. Smith song that we're singing?
Friends are friends forever?
No, there was like some melodramatic.
Place in this world?
Yes.
That's come full
Yes.
circle.
We've gone full
Find my place in this world.
We were
Anyway,
like
Rachel is a
Kirk Franklin
fun
on it.
time in the car.
I'm
and
like, you
so-
want snacks? I got those. You want drinks? I'm like, oh, I'm always ready for anything.
But also the thing I appreciate about you as a road trip person is you are the perfect mix of fun, but also like we need to be there at a certain time. So if you need to go to the bathroom, this is your opportunity.
I do like to get where I'm going. I do.
That's good. That's quality. That's a good road tripper. That's like perfect, ideal
Yeah.
road trip tag along.
It's a good mix. Hi, Angela. Do you know what I'm going to do on this road trip for the very first time?
Is
What?
it podcast appropriate?
I'm going to go to that place everybody talks about, that fucking gas station place or whatever.
Buc-ee's?
I'm going to Buc-ee's for the first time.
You've never been to Buc-ee's?
No, I live in Ohio. We don't have those here.
I don't even
Okay,
know what
well-
the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah, you
Well,
know if
okay,
you saw
listen,
it. People
I
talk
went
about
to
it all the
Buc-ee's.
time.
No, I'm from
We-
Madison. You say Bucky, and I think Bucky the Badger. I'm like, cool.
Okay, get out of here. Get out of here with that. We went to Buc-ee's for the first time when we drove to Florida back in March, and it was definitely something to behold, but it was a little bit of a letdown.
Oh, well,
I gotta
thanks
be
for
honest.
making me feel optimistic about
But
it.
I
now.
feel like mine was a letdown because my expectations were so high. So
Right.
if you go in with lower expectations, you'll probably love it.
Right. For those of you that are listening to the podcast, Abby literally left. April told her to go, and she is no
Abby,
longer.
come back. My
Can-
apologies. I'm
Say
sorry.
something nice to her right now. so
Abby,
she
you're
comes back.
beautiful, and you did turn me on earlier. I lied.
Oh wow, that is. Oh, that I was
That
saying
got
that's the reason
weird.
to come back. No, that did not get weird. That got perfect. Okay, are we going to talk about the thing that we're supposed to talk about tonight?
Yeah, youth groups.
So, we've kind of touched on different parts, I think, of like our experiences in youth groups as we talk about different things. But I'd love to talk about our individual, like what it was like for us. in some of our memories from it. April let us know that she's apparently compartmentalized that away and she doesn't remember a ton from her youth group days. I'll say this, it ran my entire life. Like everything about my entire life for those years was youth group more than school or sports or clubs or anything. What about you two?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And the thing that's funny is I grew up in a pretty religious town, and not everyone was my specific brand of Christianity, but everyone was religious to the point where and it has been this past like year and a half on TikTok that I've learned this is maybe uncommon. Teachers didn't assign homework on Wednesday nights because the assumption was that everyone was going to be in some kind of either confirmation class or Christian education at their whatever, or youth group. And so they literally would not give out homework on Wednesday nights, and then they wouldn't schedule like sports games and things like that on Wednesday nights. That is the death grip that youth group held on us in the 90s and early aughts.
That's interesting. I'm trying to remember because I went to Christian high school. I bet we had homework on Wednesday, but maybe they didn't give us as much. I know that we did not have any games or anything on Wednesdays, and we played non-Christian schools too, but it was always any day but Wednesday.
Oh yeah, and it was always touted as like a sacrifice. Like if this loses us ranking, it's because we just have faith and like we're willing to sacrifice.
Listen, I saw this post recently about like raising your kids or something that was like, nothing is more important than church, not their baseball league, not going to grandma's house, not like
not their siblings.
I said all of this stuff, and I'm like, listen, sports are expensive. If I'm paying for my kid to play a sport, they're going to every fucking game.
And what's wild to me is I grew up, we weren't really a big football town. Our football team was like marginally okay, but we were a big hockey town. And I don't know if you know about hockey people.
I don't.
They are fucking crazy. They are like, you think football people are crazy? At our high school hockey games, this podcast might need a trigger warning. In the comments, Ben is asking, does this podcast need a trigger warning? I need to know how to prepare my heart.
My stuff's
with
just
vodka.
cringe. Just cringe.
This is lighthearted cringe.
Yeah.
So in a hockey town, literally one of the traditions for the high school hockey team was you would go and buy a live squid at the seafood shop and throw it on the ice at halftime.
Absurd.
A live squid?
I can't even begin.
Ice?
I can't begin to explain it. But what I can say is, even the hockey team
does it
suspended
live?
Game. No, it dies. I don't really understand. Okay, thank you, Angela. Yes, true story, especially in Minnesota and Wisconsin. This is like a real thing.
Okay, I take it back. This didn't need a trigger warning. I didn't know squid were dying.
But my point is, the only thing that could best even hockey season is youth group.
Ooh, really?
Youth group
there's
sat
the
in
connection.
The priority seat.
It's like, land it. Bring it home, Abby.
I know.
What does this have to do with anything?
She was going to bring it back. I know my girl. She was going to bring it back.
We were talking about things that like not having games and things like that. And even as invested in the hockey team as the crazy people in my town were, it was like, oh no, we can't do that game on Wednesday. Everybody has church in the Stepford Wife.
So was your youth group, did you do youth group on Wednesdays?
We did.
Did you have it on Sundays too?
No, on Sundays we had Sunday school, which was basically youth group.
Yeah, it was the same group of people.
Did you guys also have Sunday night services?
Not for youth. We had like main service we did.
Yeah.
We didn't have Sunday night services because we rented space most of the time that I was growing up. And then
money.
Yeah. So what I'm curious, what your youth pastor was like. And this is where anybody that watches this that knows me is probably like, oh, is she gonna talk about him? Because he was my youth pastor turned my pastor as an adult. And I have on every podcast and everyone ever worked around ever talking about him. So dun dun dun. Now I'm going to. So April, what was your youth pastor like?
So the reason why I think I have a hard time remembering a lot of youth group memories is because like my dad and grandfather co-pastored a really large church in Texas. up until I was 14, like that 4,000 members. And I pretty much moved away because then we moved to Florida when I was 14. So I moved away like right at the height of the youth group there where I would have been. So I mostly have like kids' church memories there, and the youth pastor that I do not like him. I did not have a good youth pastor because I have like other issues with this person. So when I was in kids' church, I couldn't wait to get to youth group, right? Because we had a really cool youth pastor who was also like my godparent and was just awesome. Until like later on, we found out he was having an affair with like his like kind of adopted daughter. It was a whole thing.
I feel like you buried the lead just now. Like genuinely and truly. Like I was muted because I was eating like peach rings. And I had to unmute myself to say, I'm sorry, what?
I mean, I don't know that they ever officially adopted her, but it was someone that him and his wife were like, this is our daughter.
Oh, no.
Was it your youth pastor, Woody Allen?
I was going to say Woody Allen.
I mean, she was older. She wasn't.
This story 19. Is not getting better.
No, I know. This he's actually the one I liked. So
what?
I know. I was just saying.
What?
I'm derailing this.
You are. This is welcome to the Heretics, guys.
Okay, no. So that was the youth pastor I was hoping I was going to have, just to set the stage. But he ends up taking a different role, and this new youth pastor comes like the year before I come on board. Like I was like 12 when he took over as youth pastor. So I was like right in the middle between being old enough to be youth pastor and being not. But I'm also the pastor's daughter. Mm-hmm. So everyone was like, I don't know, you just get extra judgment and extra special treatment. And like, it's just weird. Like it's just no one treats you normal. But this dude, I don't know if y'all saw, I did a TikTok about this earlier, a few weeks ago. But this guy, one time after one of our kids' church things, I was hanging out with this guy who I liked at the time. Again, I'm 12. I think he was 14, maybe 15. So he was a little bit older than me, but we were still kids, whatever. But me and my other friend were all hanging out. We're laughing. We're having a good time. We're like throwing candy at each other, like the candy that we're supposed to give away. And it's fun. And then afterwards, and my parents weren't there because they were out of town. And this youth pastor and his wife were like watching us. With that, for clarification, we get in the car and he gets really serious. And he's like, hey, April, I need you to stop messing around. We'll call him James. I don't want to say his real name. It's like, I need you to stop messing around with James and leave him alone. Because James we really want him to be a leader in youth group. He's got a lot of potential as a godly young man, and you are distracting him. And it's like, I know you're only 12, but you're becoming a young woman.
Oh, Lord.
And I was like, at first I thought he was joking. So I literally laughed and was like, shut up. He's like, no, I'm serious. So after that, I was like, I hate that guy.
Yeah, I would hate him too.
Yeah. He also, this is just like a sidebar that's annoying. My parents allowed us to listen to secular music, but he was like, no, I'm more spiritual than my boss / pastor. So he was like, when you're under my roof, which was really my parents' roof, he was just watching us. It's like, you're not allowed to listen to secular music. He was really fun.
We, I was going to tell this story in like the next segment, but I'll say it now because it made me think of that. My youth pastor, who I'm going to talk about in a second, he was not like a no secular music kind of person, like at all, but he went through like a little phase of being that. And like, it was very short lived where it was like, this music is not what we should be putting into our brain, whatever. And so he had everybody bring their CDs, and they burned them in the shape of a cross. And my brother had like 300 and something CDs. My brother used to have this huge Case Logic thing that was like juke everywhere. And so my mom was so pissed because it was so much money that he burned, but also that many CDs put off so much smoke that the frigging fire department came and he got a citation for like an open fire.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's what my youth pastor did. Anyway.
Yeah, well, this youth pastor also held CD burnings for like the youth group. I never went. I was like, I'm too good for that.
It was so weird when my youth pastor did that because that was just not who he was at all. He must have just got caught up in something. So my youth pastor was probably like 22 or 23 when he became my youth pastor, which now looking back, you're like barely older than any of the people. Like it's so young, right? He just got married. He grew up at the church I was at, and he had gone to Liberty, and then he got married to a girl from Liberty, came back, and he was young and cool and handsome, and like we were just all obsessed with him. Everybody wanted to be around him. Everybody wanted to be with him all the time. People wanted to dress like him and look like him. And like his youth pastor was like goals. Like we wanted to be just like her too. We were obsessed with them. Like now looking back, if I was in my early 20s and just married and all of these like 14, 15-year-olds wouldn't leave me alone all the time, I would go crazy. But we were at their house multiple nights a week. We were always around them, obsessed with them. We always wanted to be just like them, which is really interesting because then when he was my pastor as an adult, that was still the scenario where everybody was like his little soldiers all the way up until everything fell apart. But we were just obsessed. It was every day of my life. I was with people from the youth group. Abby, you said something before we started recording about how those were your real friendships and then your school friendships were, what'd you say?
So I was a pastor's kid too. And so for a long time, so I was also a church planter's kid, which is like a whole other trauma. So there was a lot of years where my dad was the youth pastor because he was both like, I mean, he was everything. He was the senior pastor, the youth pastor, the custodian, like he was all the things.
Yeah.
So I have literally been in youth ministry from the time that I was a child. I was born in May. The following June, July period of time, I went to summer camp, like youth camp, because my dad was the youth pastor. I then was at youth camp every year until I was probably like 22. So youth group was my life.
Yeah.
Like it was like my entire personality for a good amount of time.
Did you invite your school friends to youth group?
Well, that was amateur hour. Amateur hour was like, want to come to my youth group? I was like, I'm cool, man. I'm cool. Do you see how cool I am? Like, I'm so cool. And I love Jesus. Isn't that wild? Like, look how cool I am. And the weird thing is, it fucking worked. Like, it worked so well. People would be like, oh my God, you are cool. Look at your black lipstick. You're so cool. And everybody at my youth group, I remember my youth pastor once being like, you just feel like the black lipstick, like it just sends such a message. And I was like, I brought 3 friends tonight. Pretty sure you owe me a pizza. I don't know what you're
So you were the youth group goth.
For some amount of time. It just depended on
every
the
youth
year.
group had one where you're kind of like, I don't know why they're here, but they keep showing up.
I definitely wasn't a goth though. It was much more like punk alternative. And the thing is, to be a good youth group bait and switch kind of person, which I fully own, that was me. I was doing that. You had to pizza's youth group currency, Marcia says.
It really was. It really was. They would offer us pizza for anything.
Yes. To be a good youth group bait and switch, you had to be just cool enough that people wanted to hang out with you, but not so weird that people were like, no, thank you, weird girl dressed in a, gothic gown from head to toe, and fairy wings. Like, nah, I'm not into it.
Fairy wings.
Fairy wings.
You didn't have those people at your high schools that were like, back when Hot Topic sold, like full on medieval gowns and fairy wings.
No, I remember them.
For sure.
I was just getting the whole visual and appreciating it.
No, I was much more like punk band, like, and my youth pastor, you guys, the thing is, my youth pastor was cool. Like, he was legitimately cool.
Yeah, same.
He ran the youth center in our town and he opened it up on Friday nights. I still remember, I'm very embarrassed now as I'm thinking about this. We called it Moon Pie Cafe, and he handed the youth center over to high school juniors and was like, have your bands play. We'll have an all ages show. It's totally fine. And looking back as an adult now, I'm like, man, what a ploy. How many teenagers were like, you're so cool. You're like a cool adult. You're one of the
I'm not a
cool-
regular mom. I'm a cool
You're a
mom.
regular youth pastor. I'm a cool youth pastor. We had like a banner that we would hang in the youth center. Like, he was cool. We would go to his house multiple nights a week. And I look back at it now and I'm like, I get that those parents thought to themselves, I'm sending my teenager to the youth pastor's house. What's the worst that could happen? But we would go in his basement and we would play the James Bond game on Nintendo 64.
Yeah.
GoldenEye.
I loved that game.
We would just play hours of GoldenEye, and like he would just because we were playing a video game and it was pretty innocent, he would not even be down there. And so people were like making out and like sitting on really scandalous stuff by youth group standards, but not at all scandalous by the world standards.
Yeah.
The world.
Right.
So-
Rodney asked Abby, please say, did you wear Jinkos?
Oh my God, I wore Jinkos.
Abby, I wore Jinkos too.
I wore Jinkos. My largest pair of Jinkos were 72 inches in diameter. And one summer at youth camp, the youth pastor, his two little kids, each one sat on one of my feet and they hid underneath my pant leg. And I like walked around and I cannot for the life of me remember why we did this.
Why'd we do anything?
My Jinkos were more like regular Jinkos.
Oh man.
Not 72.
Mine were
no. My Jinkos were
not
like,
made.
would you like to when I and it doesn't matter. Never mind. I'm not going to say that on the internet.
No, you're good.
Yeah, internet lives forever, Abby.
It does live forever.
Hold your
Yeah, I'm
tongue.
gonna hold back the thing I was about to say.
So I want to talk about maybe some cringy memories that we have and like what we did like to serve and stuff in youth group. But before we do that, we need to do something. So
Oh, yes.
So one of the things
I've been thinking about my words all day.
Listen, nobody's gonna know what that means until
I haven't been thinking of
talking
my
and they
words.
will.
Mine are going to genuinely be random.
Okay, so listen. One of the things that happened in youth group, I don't care what youth group you went to, what is happening with my hair? This piece of hair is driving me nuts the whole time. Anyway, no matter what youth group you were in, skits and plays and dramatic things were a thing. So we're going to talk about those in a minute. But I thought the best way to really like celebrate that is to actually just do one ourselves. So I thought, you know what? We'll connect with the cringiness of those youth group plays with like current like Jimmy Fallon Mad Libs. If you ever watch Jimmy Fallon, that's, you know, he does those acting things with people and he asks them for the words. So right now I'm going to ask for these words. This might take a few minutes. So as the girls answer, listen, this script, these girls have never, I say girls like you're 12 years old, women have never read this. So I'm going to get these words from them and then we'll go into the next segment and I'll be like over here typing, probably you see me, and then I'm going to send them. And then at the end of the show, these two beautiful women are going to act out this.
Just ask us for, come on, let's just do it.
First of all, Abby, I had to tell everybody what was going on. Abby, can you do me a favor and say something nice about me right now?
Okay, to be fair, I did just call you like one of the best road trip partners on the planet. Okay. I was very flowery. That should count for something.
That's right. I wasn't needy in that moment. I'm needy in this moment, though.
Fair enough. Rachel, look at me.
Okay.
Make eye contact. You are one of the most self-aware people on the planet, to the point where you are so willing to own your shit and move through it in a productive, healthy manner. Look at you. Look at the panic on her face right now. She's like, wait, I didn't mean bring up real emotion in me.
The way, Abby, you can just switch from hilarity
really
to
can.
just sincere, like, therapy mode.
And not to be too serious for a minute, but Abby is so good at reassuring me of that all the time. Like, I'm a lot of bad things, but I am self-aware and I have worked so hard in therapy on becoming that. So Abby, thank you for saying that. Okay, back to the funny stuff.
Back to the fun.
So keeping in mind that this is set in like the early 2000s when we would have been in youth group. So Abby, give me a teenage girl's name. April, give me a teenage boy's name.
Connor.
Tiffany.
Okay. Okay. I need a few names. So now I need Abby. Give me an early 2000s full name, girl, teenager, somebody you hated. Give me the real name. No, you don't give me the real name.
No. Oh God, I almost did it.
Full name, her first and last name.
Julie Dellenbach.
Julie Dellenbach. I just made that spelling up.
If either one of you are listening, it's not about you, I promise.
April, give me a last name.
For Connor?
Anybody. I just need a last name.
Anyone?
Yes.
Ooh, okay.
Make sure I can pronounce it. Come on,
Okay.
last name.
Delzabuck.
That sounds a lot like Dellenbach, but
Okay, one more name. I need a woman's first name, a grown adult. What's her first name?
Marie.
Early 2000s.
Francesca.
Marie. Oh, we'll come back to Francesca maybe. Okay, I need a place, not like a city, whatever, like somewhere you go, like Target, like a place.
Orange Julius.
Orange Julius.
I had an ex-boyfriend in youth group that worked at Orange Julius.
I loved Orange Julius. There was still one in Cleveland at the Cleveland Mall or Akron Mall. I can't remember which one. Up until like 10 years ago, and maybe it's still there. I don't know. I would go to the Orange Julius. Okay, I need 3 adjectives.
Pulchritudinous.
What?
P-U-L.
What? No. What does this mean?
It means beautiful.
No. Give me one that I can spell.
Beautiful.
No. You can say beautiful.
Sinister.
Sinister. I need another one. Girls, come on.
Bald.
You rejected mine.
Bald. Give me one more just in case something doesn't work.
Um,
Abby, I need an adjective. Oh my gosh, the stubbornness. We're live right now. Give me an adjective, God damn it.
Zippy.
Thanks, April. All right, each of you give me a number.
17.
57.
I need 3 body parts, external body parts.
Your left pinky toe toenail.
Left pinky toe toenail. Okay.
Right kneecap.
Right kneecap. One more, ladies.
Tooth.
Just tooth.
Your incisor. All right, I need a
tooth considered a body.
We're going with it.
I'm sorry. Do you not consider your teeth part of your body?
I think it is. I need an internal organ.
Kidney.
Okay. Okay. I still need like 8 more things. Sorry, we'll go faster. I need a teen movie from like our time.
She's all that.
Legally Blonde.
First of all, from our time.
She's all that.
We were great. I know. Legally Blonde. We were like full adults by then, weren't we?
No.
I don't know. She's all
I
that.
think I might have been a senior in high school in Legally Blonde.
Okay, I'm
maybe
old,
college.
I forgot. I need 3 famous men from the early 2000s, so 90s or they were 3 famous men.
They're all. Some of them are still famous.
Yeah. So
Seth Green.
Seth Green. Okay. Next.
Okay. Who else?
April doesn't know any.
Kirk Cameron.
Kirk Cameron.
He wasn't as crazy back then.
One more.
Who did I have a crush on back then? Oh, who was the actor who was in
Taylor
Spring?
Hansen.
What'd you say, April?
Taylor Hansen.
Taylor Hansen. Is he one of the Hansen brothers?
Yes.
She doesn't know that. Okay.
I was never into Hansen.
Okay, I need
Aaron Carter.
I need a noun. Literally any noun. Not a proper noun, just a thing.
Soap.
I have a bench down. I need a country.
Istanbul.
Istanbul, Constantinople.
Istanbul's not a country.
That's in Turkey.
That's okay. We'll go with Istanbul anyway. I need a U.S. city.
Hi, Candace.
Boise, Idaho.
Okay, a couple more things and then we're done.
Oh my God.
Oh my gosh. First of all, Abby, I'll just take you off this. No, I need you to act. Never mind. I need a verb that ends in ing that you do with your hands or your mouth.
Swatting.
Swatting. Perfect. Hold on. Answered. Okay, hold on. I need an exclamation. Like something like, oh God.
Zoinks.
Come back on the screen. I need 2 more things and we're done. I need a negative feeling.
Depression.
Depressed is fine.
Depressed.
And then a derogatory slang name for a woman, like slut, but not slut.
Cunt.
Jezebel.
Simon.
Are we going with cunt?
I thought we had to make this youth group appropriate.
I 1,000% would have said that in youth group.
I think I'm gonna go with Jezebel. Okay,
Or loose. Loose is what I heard a lot too. Loose woman.
Well, but like a
name.
So
Jezebel.
we call it like a floozy is what we would have said.
I mean, are you talking about what teenagers would have said? What teenager was like, she's loose?
We would have said she was slutty.
Easy. She's easy.
Maybe that's just what my dad would say.
Okay, I think I have everything now.
Candace, don't judge us.
We said cunt on the podcast.
I'm sorry. Is that where the line is? 'Cause
Listen,
we
you
said
know
a
that that's
lot
like
on the
my
podcast.
favorite word, but not these people might not be ready for that.
I would like to formally apologize to anyone that I can't even finish that. That's my favorite word.
Okay, I have to work on
Sometimes
this
Rachel
for a
and I
second.
just trade Snapchats where we just say that
Just
word
say
over
the
and
word.
over.
Oh, I'm not in those. You don't
Well,
send that to
I
our
will
Snap
send you
group.
one.
You're
babe.
so
Mm.
I will send
delicate.
you one.
Oh,
You're so
no, I'm not.
delicate.
According to youth group pastors everywhere, my delicate flower has been destroyed.
Oh, it has.
April,
Yeah. Yes.
say the word.
No, I can't. Not on live.
Yeah. Okay, I have to work on this for a second. So can you guys go back to talking about youth group? Like tell
I
us
haven't
some like
deconstructed the C word yet.
funny stories or awkward things while I type all these words into
I
here.
have a really terribly awkward youth group story. April, you and I both come from a more charismatic.
Pentecostal.
There we go.
Mhm.
So, did you ever have the experience of like the summer camp where it was like you came home, hearts ablaze, and you were on fire?
Oh yeah.
So, one year, oh God, this is deeply embarrassing.
Please
One
tell
year,
me.
my youth group came home with that passion. And the camp speaker that year had spent many a night talking about how he would just find himself in these situations where he was witnessing to people and talking about God. And it was like, I got a flat tire and the guy towed me and I was in the auto shop and suddenly I'm witnessing and 8 mechanics got saved. And we tried to recreate this by going to the mall, all dressed in our camp t-shirts, by the way, and walking up to random strangers to tell them, hey, my name's Abby. Jesus loves you. Can I tell you more about that?
No.
Yes.
No.
And the worst part is we were in the car, all of us, like 7 of us from the youth group, we were in the car headed to the mall. And I remember one of the guys talking and he, this is an exact quote. He was like, I think about my other friends from other churches. And I'm just like, I don't even know how to relate to you. Like, how do I say to them, like, I'm sorry, I'm just more on fire than you?
That is so like most people, a lot of people probably wouldn't have said that out loud, but we all felt that.
And we all in the car were like, yeah,
I know.
it's rough.
How do you, it's almost like you got to witness to your Baptist friends too, you know?
I was friends with a lot of Mormons and I was like, it's so hard to try to save people who they think they're supposed to be saving you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, it's so cringy to even think about. All right, what was your cringiest
Oh gosh.
youth group moment?
Well, cringy. Well, I did sing an original song in it, but it was pretty good for
I am unsurprised.
For 17-year-old me. It was better than America Say Jesus.
Do you still know it?
I do.
All right,
I
let's
do.
hear it.
It
Right now.
It's called Forever Be.
Of course it is.
Yep. It goes. Now I'm embarrassed. It goes, Lord, I give you everything I am because you're everything to me. Rachel. Lord, guide me, take me by the hand. With you I will forever be. And then it continues with a bunch of Forever Bees. Like, Forever Bee.
Oh my gosh, the comments are driving me crazy. We went to evangelize at Mall of America like that. I believe you. I believe you. The privilege. Oh yeah, just like steeped in privilege.
Oh,
Candace, I
yeah.
had a friend that was Church of Christ, and I basically told her she was going to hell. Somehow we're still friends. That's amazing that you're still friends.
Oh, well, this wasn't. So I have very cringy evangelical moments. I don't know if they're necessarily related to youth group. One that is very cringy. I mean, it's kind of funny looking back, but like in 2005, 2006, just random humor was really popular. Just like the more random, the better. That had nothing to do with anything. And I convinced one of my friends, we went and bought these like long beards that looked like, I don't know, just like really long, like fundamentalist Mormon beards, like fake ones. And we wore them and we put on my brother's like Hawaiian shirts.
Wait, you bought long beards because you thought that they looked like fundamentalist Mormons?
No, I was just describing the kind of beards that they wore.
Okay.
They're just very long, bushy beards. And wore Hawaiian shirts. Actually, we're in full drag, really. And did a whole choreographed dance to Everybody by the Backstreet Boys.
Yeah.
But we had to bleep out the "Am I sexual?" because that wouldn't
See,
fly.
we just rewrote lyrics. I actually remember one year in youth group, we did a human video. Raise your hand if you remember human videos. We did a human video to a rewritten version of I Saw the Sign, only we changed the lyrics. What do you think we saw, April? What do you think we saw instead of the sign?
I saw the light.
I saw the sun. S-O-N. I
saw
saw
the
the
sun.
sun and it opened up my eyes. I saw the sun. Oh my gosh.
I can see that. I can
Human
definitely see
videos were so embarrassing.
that. Did you ever do a youth group dance human video song / skit to Stomp by Kirk Franklin?
No, because we were white, and I will own, like, thankfully, we understood that it was not our place.
Well, our church was actually pretty diverse, so
That's
we
good.
were all white doing it, thankfully, and our choreographer was also not white. But every youth group that I knew of did some kind of dance to Stomp. I still love that song.
So one of the things that April and I have in common is that while it's not the same church, like, association, we both grew up in church associations where our families were kind of a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's one of the things we had in common. So in my church association, there was one church that was predominantly like Black people. And every time we had a youth conference or the pastors cluster meetings or anything like that, the youth choir from that church would get up and they would do a number because A, they were the only church with a youth choir, and B, they were the only church that could do those kinds of numbers and have it be A, remotely on rhythm, or B, entertaining at all. And I'm still friends with a bunch of those people because especially now that we live back in Illinois, and it's wild. We trade youth group stories back now. Like, do you remember this? Do you remember this conference? Do you remember when we were all blah, blah, blah? Do you have any people now that you look back with that are in the same place as you?
Yeah, there's some people, there's been some that I had lost touch with that have since I've started talking about some deconstruction have like I've reconnected with because we're on the same page. Like one of the girls was also a worship leader at my church, and she was like the lead every year in our Heaven's Gates and Hell's Flames production.
I didn't learn about that one until I got on TikTok.
Oh, that one has like all the trauma wrapped up in like a 90-minute production that you could ever need or want.
But you have people that you talk about, like you go back with them in memory.
Yeah. They're all far away because we moved so much, but there's been a few that have come back that I've been able to. But also my brothers. I'm really close to my brothers still, and they lived through every youth group experience with me pretty much. So yeah, but sadly, most of them are still in it, you know?
Yeah.
What I miss.
Ben said, do you all remember being super prideful with the popular Christian rock groups were or became, it disappeared. Became members of your denominations? So along those lines, Ben, yes, I do. I remember a guy in our, so I don't know if you guys know this, Rachel and April, but my degree specifically was in youth ministry. So like I was a child in youth ministry because my dad was the youth pastor, and then I was a youth in youth ministry, and then I was a college student interning at a church in youth ministry, and then I was a youth minister for a really long time before I planted my own church. So like youth ministry was my literal life.
Yeah.
I know so many people who have worked with like quote unquote famous Christian bands who at the time I thought they were really famous people. Like I have a friend who was the guitar tech for Skillet, and I would tell people that and they'd be like, "Who's Skillet?"
That makes me really happy right now because what's his face? Cooper dude from Skillet is such a D-bag.
Fuck that guy.
You know what? I was
that
just
guy's the worst.
I think I had this realization recently. I mean, I've had the realization on and off, but it always just forgets me. Like I always forget how niche so many of our memories and like experiences are. Because I was following Kevin Max on Instagram and I was like, how does he only I think he has like 20,000 followers maybe. I was like, how does he only have 20,000 followers?
No, he only has that many followers because he identifies as an ex-evangelical and not enough
Yeah,
people
but he
know
was already kind of like
DC Talk. They are wildly well known. Do you remember when they announced their reunion tour, or like there was like rumblings of something happening and everyone was so excited, and then it was a cruise and you had to pay $1,000 to go?
Yeah, no thanks.
I got messages from so many former youth group kids who were like, "This is bullshit," and I was like, "I agree, dude. I don't even know."
You know what's a good memory that I have of youth group before we get to our skit?
Yeah.
That. And I will keep them forever because I'm pretty sure they've also deconstructed. I think we've talked about them too. But Reliant freaking K.
Yeah. They're amazing.
They still go hard. I mean, a couple of the songs like probably wouldn't fly today.
They're actually super misogynistic in a couple. I played Mood Ring for my daughter, and about 3 bars in was like, "Oh, well, this is anti all the messaging I've been trying to give you."
Right.
But like, we're gonna go with it because I love this song.
Yeah.
What's interesting is that in 2022, their comment section on their Facebook, when they announced that Similar was opening for them,
my God,
was so it was like we were just right back in early 2000s. Like you would let a gay person,
not even a gay person, a gay,
one of them gays.
I was like, these people are like, I'm so sad that I'm not gonna be able to take my son to this concert he was looking forward to. No, he wasn't. First of all,
and now I can't because you've let a gay on stage.
Like, they already have your money. They don't give 2 fucks. They're good.
This is my pinnacle, like, intersection of music and youth group question. How many of us here, between us in the boxes and in the comment section, participated in a human video to the Lifehouse song "Everything"? Please raise your hand.
And if I was not in the performance, I would guarantee have tears down my face.
Oh my God, so I'm just like emotional.
Like, oh God, thank you, Jesus.
You want to hear something super cringy?
Yes.
My friend Jake and I, who then he went on to lead worship at Liberty, it was like a really big deal. And I like would always tell people I knew him, which was very cringy too. We sang that song in someone's wedding.
Oh God.
We sing that.
Oh gosh.
That's a lot.
In their wedding.
Is Lifehouse even a Christian band?
I think they're Christians that make music.
We're just Christians, and like we're in a band, but we don't like make music specifically about God. But because we're all Christians, it like infiltrates our music, obviously, because it's like part of who we are.
Did you guys ever do one to Total Eclipse of the Heart?
Yes, I was just about to ask that.
No.
Turn around.
We turned around and other people turned around, they were wearing black, and every time they turned around, it said something like alcohol.
The different sin,
sex,
pride, lust, turn around.
And then I really need you tonight. Jesus was like,
Here's the one that Rachel, we've already established, is unfamiliar with, but April and I hold a special place in our hearts for and could do for you in this moment. What? Carmen, the champion.
Oh, yes.
What do you mean I'm unfamiliar with it?
Are you? I'm so sorry if I'm wrong. In my head that night, you were like, I don't know what the fuck you guys are talking about.
That was Lindsay. I was filming and laughing. Like, I just was
You guys,
We went to town on
Carmen,
America
like,
again.
America Again was my jam.
oh my God. And I really wish this is how deep the indoctrination goes. Like, I wish that it didn't still hit on those certain heartstrings, but they're still there. I hear the opening chords of Champion and I get goosebumps. I'm like, the champion.
I laugh at America Again now, but the music does still get me going sometimes. And like when we were all singing it on that live that night, it was like, how do I remember every word to this?
I know. Can I confess something embarrassing?
Yes, please.
When I was in 7th grade, I had to write a paper. So I was not homeschooled this year. I was at a public, very small town school in Texas. It was basically a Christian school. But I wrote this paper. I don't even remember what it was about, but one of the things, it was like how to fix our country or something. And one of the things was like, kids should stop handing out. I literally put, kids should stop handing out condoms and start handing out Bibles.
God in school.
And my teacher, 7th grade, public school, loved what I wrote so much. And it's like Jesus all over it. He had me stand up and read it out loud in front of the entire class. And then I remember being really proud and then immediately embarrassed because like 2 periods later, someone came up who was not in that class who was like, did you really write something about condoms? And then I became the condom girl.
Oh no.
In middle school.
No.
So Carmen did me wrong.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, because there's a couple comments that are like, I'm so confused. For those of you who don't know, Carmen was a 80s and 90s Christian pop, really truly superstar.
Yes.
Jesus. And I'm not telling you,
his live shows were really good though. He was
I'm
very
not telling
entertaining.
you to go binge Carmen videos on YouTube when this podcast is over, but I'm not telling you to do that.
Satan Bite the Dust is especially like dramatic.
Carmen was my very first concert. I was 3 years old, and I don't remember what song. Yes, Candace, me too. He was my first concert. I was 3 years old, and I don't remember the song, but I do remember turning around and kneeling at my chair and weeping, and my mom going, "What's wrong?" And me looking up at her, 3 years old, tears streaming, going, I just feel the spirit so much.
With Carmen.
Yikes.
Yeah. Oh man.
Anyway.
Will you two do me a favor real quick and make sure you got the email that I sent you? Don't read it yet.
I thought you were texting it to
I thought
us?
you were
Well,
texting
I sent it
as well.
via email because I couldn't get my text to open on my Mac. My iMac is behind my laptop.
I have received the email.
Okay,
I can
don't
confirm.
Look at it.
Okay.
I'm not.
Abby,
Oh my God.
I just need Stacey Rico. Hi, Catherine, by the way. I didn't even know you were here. Stacey Rico, Rachel Lampa. I loved me some Rachel Lampa. Zoe girl. Even though
Jackie
isn't
Velasquez?
Zoe girl on my knees.
I get on my knees.
Have you guys, just for the record, have you seen the videos under that sound on TikTok?
No, but I can only imagine.
Oh, you should go. Haley Grammer, I don't know if you guys follow her. She has a phenomenal one where she's like me as a high schooler singing this song in my 8th group, and she's like looking at a boy. She's like, get on my knees.
Rebecca St. James.
Oh, I will wait for you.
I was just I am waiting for you, darling. Wait for me too.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck you guys are singing.
She literally wrote a song about staying a virgin until she met her husband. Sorry,
yeah, it was a whole thing.
You don't.
She also wrote the theme song to "Yes, I Believe in God." After Columbine,
the fake story.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, are we doing? Let's not veer into the fake story of Columbine before we do a Mad Lib, please.
For the record, we should clarify. We're not saying the Columbine shooting.
Oh yes, that little soundbite.
I gotta go. This has been nice.
It's definitely not what I'm saying. Gracie, I used to go to Gaither concerts with my dad all the time.
The Gaithers were my first concert, so feel sorry for me.
Gracie just said that in the chat. Her first concert too.
That's why I loved Mark Lowry though, because he came out and actually entertained me as like a 7-year-old kid, and everyone else is like, I mean,
Do you guys-
as a 7-year-old, it felt like everyone was about to die.
Do you guys remember me telling you that his
'Cause
mom
they're old, Abby.
was one of my professors?
Who?
That Mark Lowry's mom was one of my
Yes.
professors. And that, again, we're about to go into something funny, so not to be too heavy. But the way she talked about Mark, man, she loved Mark. She died maybe like 10 years ago or something. She loved Mark. But I always felt like when she was talking about, she taught family psychology. So she would always talk about her family in these stories. And it was like, this kid has children, married, whatever. And the way she talked about Mark, I felt like I was watching this woman know that her son was probably gay. And just like, and I, even back then when I was still very not deconstructed, I was at liberty, whatever. I'm like, can't we just let him be happy? And this is me also saying this now when like the man has never come out. I'm putting that on him and I feel a little bad. Like he might not be, and that's great. But I felt like she was like trying to communicate with us that she was sad about that. And even then my like not deconstructed self was like, just love him. Anyway, that was my whole story about Bev. May she rest in peace.
I really like him. I feel like he's one of the least problematic evangelicals out there. He does seem to be very kind. My suspicions are that he probably is, but I know I would never, whatever. You can't really say. But if he is, big if. I know Abby's about to punch me. I don't know. I'll say that. But I will say, when I think about him being gay,
if people are not out, there are a million reasons why they may not be out. And I would never want anyone to speculate about why I wasn't out.
Absolutely.
So
that's fair.
That's
fair. There's literally
absolutely.
Like articles written about it. But that's fair. But what I was going to say, when I think about if he was or is, it makes me really sad.
I know.
That that he can't be out.
Yes.
But for the record, there are a lot of people who choose that of their own free will.
For sure.
So like I would, for me, I know we're going to a real serious place here. We don't have to do this, but like there are a lot of people who choose not to be out, especially if they're in the public eye for any reason. And that public persona is not necessarily indicative of private life.
That's
so
true.
Like,
yeah, that's
I
true.
honor,
I
honor the public persona that he has chosen to put forward.
Absolutely. And adore him. I love that guy. What if he's a dick in real life or something? We're just like,
I'm just
kidding.
He is freaking charming.
He's so fresh.
He did a concert when I was probably in the 6th grade, and he did a concert at our church. And he invited all of the kids, and there was a little girl that I babysat, and she wanted to go up, but she was scared. And so she asked me to go up and hold her while she was up there. And she was like one of those kids where it was like, you belong in commercials. Like, you are freaking precious. But she was very clearly terrified. And so he did that adult thing where it was like, I'm going to pretend like I'm scared of you to make you feel more comfortable kind of thing. Yeah. And then he kept me and her on the stage after the song for a solid 10 minutes while he just chatted her up. And I, meanwhile, was like, I'm on the stage with Mark Lowry. It was
cool.
It was awesome. One of those poor Christian kids moments where my celebrity sighting story is, I got to be on the stage with Mark Lowry.
And everybody else in the rest of the world would be like, who? Okay, first of all, Gracie is over here talking about Candy Christmas, which I thought I thought she was perfect. I'm like, she's so beautiful.
Speaking of Candy Christmas, she came and sang at our church, and she brought me up on stage, and I sang a song with her.
Well, okay,
that's my moment.
You win.
But have y'all followed her husband? What he's doing right now?
No.
Kent Christmas.
What's he doing?
He's on Right Wing Watch all the time. He's super Trump. He was one of the Trump prophets. Blah 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 blah. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's not talk about that anymore. Let's end talking about these beautiful friends of mine who are just troopers and down for anything. It's a very short skit. It's very short. But they're going to perform this skit with the words we used from earlier. And this is a skit that you might have seen performed in youth group. And I'm going to mute my mic because I can't deal.
because Rachel's muting because she fully anticipates that she's gonna laugh.
I might pee.
honking
Okay.
hard.
So
Yeah.
also just to Abby and I have not read this. We're
They've
reading
not
this
read
for the
it.
first time.
I need also like points for acting here. I would like it to
But
just
it's
be
gotta
very...
be
Oh my
like
God.
kind of bad acting to act like it would be in youth group, which is kind of bad acting.
Yes, over the top. Ready? You guys start when you're ready.
I'm gonna start because if I feel like if I don't start, we're just gonna keep elaborating on it. All right, ready? Hi, Tiffany. Thank you so much for coming in to chat with me. I'm very concerned after hearing that you spent time alone with Connor at Orange Julius.
Wait, you know about that? Who told on me? Was it that zippy tattletale, Julie Dellenbach?
It was. And she told us that you kissed him 57 times.
We didn't mean to kiss that much. It's just that every time he touched me, my left pinky toenail, I felt this tingle inside. I think I love him, Mrs. Delzenbach.
Please, I'm a super cool youth pastor's wife that's more like a friend, but a friend that's going to tell you that you deserve hell. So you can call me Marie. And I'm sure you think you love him, Tiffany, but it isn't love, sweetheart. It's a feeling that comes from deep within your kidney. Lust.
Lust? I think I've heard of that. Yeah, my mom talked about it after we watched She's All That. There was a sex scene in it. Zoinks!
I know. Hollywood wants us to think about sex constantly. Let me ask you this. What poster do you have in your bedroom wall?
Seth Green. He's so handsome. His eyes are like benches and body is so bald.
I know. Do you ever look at that poster and wish you swatting your tooth?
Oh, I don't want to answer. I feel so depressed.
I understand.
I feel the same way about Kirk Cameron. But when I feel myself lusting after his right kneecap, I just pray.
And that works? If I pray, I won't think about kissing Connor 17 times.
You won't.
God will save you from your lust. When you set your mind on holy things like asking for donations so you can go on a missions trip to Istanbul or Boise, Idaho.
You're so right. I will pray every time I think about touching Connor's or Taylor Hanson's toenails. Thank you for loving me enough to make me feel like a sinister Jezebel for merely kissing a boy.
I did it for Jesus.
Sweetheart.
Mm.
Now let's go ask your parents for some money to help build a new house for the pastor.
And
Scene.
I'm so glad I'm muted because I was laughing so hard that I was like, no one's gonna be able to hear what they're saying. I cried.
Nina,
cried.
it sounds like you're just getting here, and I don't really want to explain to you how we got to this point, to be honest.
That would be a very confusing point to come in.
Oh my gosh, that's what somebody said. Somebody said something like, "This is a weird when you drop into a live at the most." Nina, at the most awkward moment. Oh my gosh. Oh, I appreciate the acting chops there, guys. Round of applause for my friends here. Round of applause. That acting. I mean, Ben got saved. Like, everybody's ready to accept the Lord.
We were
Savior.
I hope
Nina,
you all feel adequately shamed for your lustful toenail thoughts.
Seth Green.
We were acting out a Mad Libbed youth group skit.
Yes.
Don't
And
ruin it. Just tell them that was a real conversation that we publicly broadcast for educational purposes.
Rachel, did you write that Mad Lib?
I did.
That was pretty great.
I
was going to say
did.
we should do that again, but I also know that takes effort.
Oh, we can do it again.
That
What'd
should
you
be a
say?
new segment.
Candace said, I would give anything to touch Taylor Hanson's toenails. And I said, same. I cried when I found out he was married. I was a 17-year-old.
We can make that a occasional reoccurring thing because it's pretty gold. Everybody takes a turn writing a script and the other two people have to act it out. Oh my gosh. Okay. That was a great place to end this on. I love you both. Okay.
Love
well,
you
guess-
too. I forgot. I forgot
was
this is
making
audio.
kissing sounds.
Oh, well, there was like a pause, and I'm like, okay, nobody loves me back.
Oh my
I
God.
do.
So listen, number one, we need to make sure people remember that they can listen to this on the Recovering Evangelical podcast. And some people don't know that.
The Evangelical Recovering something.
It's called the Recovering Evangelical Podcast. Thank you so much for knowing the name of my podcast. And it's bonus content over there. So some people don't know where to find it. It's bonus content when you're over there. Now, the thing that's important to note is we need to do some planning right here, because do you know what next month is?
Labor Day? August?
1 year.
1
1
year.
year.
Woo!
It's our 1 year. It is our 1 year of doing this fucking nonsense called the Heretics. And so it's going to be big. We have to.
Wow. Yeah, we'll have to do something. We could bring back the Wheel of Impressions. We should do like the best of
I
the
still have your
Heretics.
Wheel of Impressions.
Bring
Yes.
bring out the best.
We could do another
things.
Mad Libs. We could do the Wheel of Impressions. We can do an altar call. We can do all of these things. It's going to be amazing. I love that somebody reminded April that Labor Day is in September, not in.
Yeah, I'm aware. Just got a little discombobulated. That would be a good Mad Lib word, by the way.
It would be. So thanks for hanging out with us tonight, talking about this. I hope you enjoyed the girls skit, because I'm probably going to put it on our TikTok. And we'll talk about unicorns for sure. That was the first thing we talked about on this podcast. I think it was unicorns. So we'll come full circle and do the best of. And we'll see you all at the end of August. Love you guys so much.
Love
Bye.
y'all.